Live from Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa, the number 14 rated Iowa State Cyclones entertain the 16th rated Kansas Jayhawks. Hi everybody, I'm George Turner. It's a fantastic night of basketball. With the story, let's go to Mark Mathew and Gary Thompson.
All right, thank you very much, George Turner. And this sold-out Hilton Coliseum is not just filled to the rafters to see two great teams. They're also on hand to see two outstanding players. Perhaps the best player in the nation, Kansas's Danny Manning.
Well, Danny Manning's the most valuable player in the Big 8 Conference the last 2 years. He carries the Kansas Jayhawks, and he has an added burden tonight. 6'10" center, junior college center, Marvin Branch was declared ineligible at the semester break.
So Danny Manning is going to be playing in the post tonight. But Kansas is not the only player with a great player, the only team with a great player. Iowa State has the Big 8's leading scorer in All-American candidate Jeff Greer.
Well, he's also the Big 8's second leading rebounder. He's a cinched first-round NBA choice. He's an excellent defensive basketball player. Look for him to cover Manning probably in the second half.
But the story really tonight here at Hilton Coliseum has to be the fact that Larry Brown has made 4 previous trips here to Hilton Coliseum and never won once, even though all of his teams were ranked in the top 20. Will that tradition continue tonight? We asked Johnny Orr.
Well, Mark, I can't tell you that. I wish I could tell you it'd be another night after tonight, but I'm not really sure. And just as long, we should be happy we won 3 in a row, and hopefully we can get a 4th.
John, do you think the loss of Marvin Branch for the Jayhawks will have any big effect in tonight's ball game?
Oh, I think it's a disadvantage for us because we practiced for him for 3 days, and now we don't know who's going to be in there. May have to change our whole plan. But I don't think it'll affect them. As long as Manning's well, that team is going to be tough.
Manning will be in the post tonight. Does that pose a bigger problem for you?
Well, I'd rather see him play guard myself, but he'll be in the post to cause us a lot of problems.
All right, John, best of luck tonight. I know it's going to be what you call a dinger, huh?
Well, I hope so, Mark.
Johnny Orr said what he may do is put 4 players on Manning tonight and then take the other one on the rest of the team for Kansas. Well, get set. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening tip-off between the Jayhawks and the Cyclones in just a moment.
Between the Iowa State University Cyclones and the University of Kansas Jayhawks. Let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game. First of all, for the visiting Jayhawks, at forward, a 6'5" junior from Washington, D.C., number 21, Milt Newton. At forward, a 6'8" senior from Lawrence, Kansas, number 24, Chris Piper. At center, a 6'10" senior from Lawrence, Kansas, number 25, Danny Manning. One guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 14, Kevin Pritchard. And at the other guard, a 6' junior from Los Angeles, California, number 12, Otis Livingston. And now let's meet the starting lineup for your Iowa State University Cyclones. Senior from Flint, Michigan, number 44, Jeff Greer. At forward, a 6'5" junior from LaGrange, Illinois, number 25, Elmer Robinson. At center, a 6'8" senior from Memphis, Tennessee, number 5, Lafester, Rhodes. At one guard, a 5'9" sophomore from Waterloo, number 4, Kerry Woods. And at the other guard, a 6'3" senior from Jackson, Michigan, number 3, Gary Thompson.
And tonight's officials, Ron Zetcher, Ron Spittler, and J.C. Leimbach. Stand by. We'll be back with the opening tip-off between the Jayhawks and Cyclones right after this brief timeout.
Copyrighted presentation of the Cyclone Television Network. Any use or rebroadcast of this material without the express written consent of the Cyclone Television Network is prohibited.
And here's the way these two teams compare. Kansas second in the Big 8 from the field, but in the three-point category, Iowa State with the advantage there. Kansas, Gary, one of the poorest free throw shooting teams in the country right now, and they are 8th in the Big 8.
Well, that's an important statistic. That could be a big difference in the ball game. The free throw line. Iowa State shooting about 71, a little bit better than 71%.
Manning and Rhodes tipping it up, and it's batted hard down into the backcourt, and Kansas will have first possession. Kansas defeated Missouri 78-74 in the Big 8 opener for the Jayhawks on Saturday. Inside they go to Manning over Greer.
Number 25, Manning for the Jayhawks.
You see Kansas, they always go to Manning, but I think you're going to see them maybe go to Manning more tonight than ever before because they lost the Branch.
And Greer's first shot will not fall, and Gary Thompkins tries to blind pick Manning, and he's whistled for the first foul of the night.
And Gary Thompkins leads the Iowa State Cyclones in assists. You see Manning coming out. He can do it all. Tompkins moving in on Manning. Gets called for his first personal foul.
Danny Manning hits his first shot of the ball game, and Jeff Greer, his counterpart on Iowa State, misses his first. Just underway at a sold-out Hilton Coliseum. Over 14,000 packed in here tonight. And Elmer Robinson has the job of trying to contain Manning. And Robinson catches Manning on the arm.
Elmer Robinson, see him, he's got his work cut out for him. 6'5" against 6'10". Manning a good job, reverse the ball. Elmer Robinson slapping right there. Manning, the other thing about Manning, if he's going to get the shot, Iowa State's just going to have to let him take it, try and keep position, let him take his fake and get into it and get the three-point opportunity, because you are not going to block his shot.
Danny Manning with all three in the ball game for the Jayhawks. Kansas, as we mentioned, last in the league in free throw shooting. Manning in particular hitting only 61% from the line, but he's perfect tonight.
This has got to be what Larry Brown had dreamed of, I think, coming into this ball game here at Hilton, which has been a jinx for him, is to get off to a 4-0 lead. Keep Iowa State from getting out early.
Terry Woods.
There might be a big difference in the ball game, too, Mark. Iowa State, their guards have made 43 three-pointers on the year. Kansas only one, that by Pritchard. Kansas only hit 15 as a team. Iowa State has hit 82.
And you can hear how loud it really is here in Hilton Coliseum. It is a constant roar. And we're only a minute and a half into the ball game. Almost turned over. Last touched. Lafester Rhodes retained by the Jayhawks as Johnny Orr looks on. Johnny Orr against Kansas has a losing record. 7-9 against the Jayhawks.
He and Brown are 5-5. They're playing the rubber game here tonight, but they'll have a rematch in Kansas later on. It's going to be important for Iowa State to be able to play good half-court defense in this ball game.
Oh, look at Greer. Sky for the board.
Give you an idea why he's number 2 in the Big 8 in rebounding.
And a great steal by Piper, and then a reaching in foul from behind by Gary Thompkins. And Johnny Orr is off the bench. Thompkins with 2 quick fouls in the ball game.
Tompkins been playing, comes off a fine game against Dayton the other night. Did an excellent job, been playing good basketball. He started 103 of 109 games for Iowa State, so that gives you an idea of his value to this team.
And give some credit to Chris Piper, who's playing hurt. Pritchard goes hard into Robinson. Rebound loose, stolen away by Rhodes. Up court, Gary Thompkins, fast break, intended for Woods, knocked out of bounds by an alert Jayhawk defense. Iowa State trailing by 1. Terry Woods with the three-pointer. Rhodes, first shot of the ball game, off the heel of the iron, and Danny Manning loses the handle on it, but it was last touched by Iowa State.
That's when I think Robinson got his hands in there. Robinson will have to be careful of that digging and reaching. He picked up one early.
Larry Brown, a tremendously successful coach, but not in Hilton Coliseum.
Taking 2 teams to the Final Four, UCLA in 80, Kansas in 86.
What a fast break. Manning with the assist to Milt Newton.
Manning could kill you so many ways, not only scoring and rebounding, but he's a tremendous passer. He could play guard.
Terry Woods for 2. And it's a 1-point ball game.
I think that basket was by Tompkins from the corner.
Correction, that's right. Gary Thompkins.
There's what Kansas will have to handle his pressure.
And Kansas turns it over. Terry Woods comes up with it. Woods finds a wide open Elmer Robinson.
Iowa State has got to get down quick on offense, get those kind of baskets where they can free people up for the wide open shot.
First lead of the ball game for the Jayhawks. Piper with a 2-on-1. And a foul from behind on Jeff Greer. He thought he pinned the ball against the glass, but J.C. Leimbach saw it a different way.
Must have been with the body. Here's a good bounce pass in here. Coming in, Greer times his jump, goes over the top. He gets the ball, but I believe he did ride him a little bit over the shoulders with the body.
And going to the line now for the Jayhawks is Milt Newton. Newton only a 44% free throw shooter.
Well, this guy's really come on. He replaced Archie Marshall, who had the unfortunate, sat out a year with a knee injury, rehabilitated, come back this year, was playing strong, and had the other knee now operated on, and he's done for the year.
It's a new ball game, tied at 7. 16:54 to play first half. And the team fouls now. Quite a story there. 4-0. Rhodes. And Rhodes is 0 for 2 from outside. Quickly down to Pritchard. Blocked partially by Greer, laid back up and in.
Good hustle by Kansas and following that time, because Greer gets the block and then Kansas get right there to pick it up, put it back in.
Milt Newton with his 4th point of the ball game. He's averaging only 3.2 a contest. And Kansas now laying back in his zone.
At 2-3 with Iowa State playing that 1-4 against it. They go 2-3. Larry likes to play the 1-3-1 matchup.
Manning slaps it away from Greer. But last to touch it was Danny Manning, so Iowa State will get another hand on it. Gary Thompkins inbounds to Robinson. Wanted the shot, goes to Greer from 3. In and out. And Manning with another great rebound.
Great rebound, because you notice he just went right through that ball. He didn't catch it standing. He was moving to the ball.
Manning won't get that one to fall. Thompkins quickly down to Greer. And Greer lost the handle on it. Turnover, number 2 for Iowa State. And the foul called, charging on Kansas. Offensive foul on Otis Livingston. First foul on the Jayhawks. And coming into the Jayhawk lineup now, Mike Masucci, a 6'10 freshman center from Grandview, Missouri. But there's time out on the court with 15:48 left to play in the first half. The Kansas Jayhawks come smoking out of the starting gate and lead the Cyclones 9-7.
Ags Fitness and Racket Club, a $3.5 million, $85,000.
Reminder that near the end of the game, Gary Thompson and I will select a Cyclone Player of the Game. And your Napa Auto Parts stores in Iowa, the Cyclone Television Network, will donate $100 to a scholarship fund that at the end of the year will be awarded to a Cyclone athlete who wishes to pursue a postgraduate education. 15:41 to play first half. Kansas by 2, 9-7. Rhodes, first basket of the ball game.
Kansas switching defense is going to make Iowa State adjust back from zone to man for man coming out of that timeout.
Kansas doing an excellent job handling the Iowa State pressure. The freshman Masucci loses the handle on it, and Rhodes tips it behind his back but stepped on the sideline.
Masucci got a break there. He just turned, and the blind pass didn't look out. Rhodes is right there, almost had the interception.
Kansas beating Iowa State down the court, Gary.
Well, this has happened a few times in the last 4 ball games for Iowa State, where the opponent's been beating them back down, which that is Iowa State's game to beat the opponent down with their quickness.
During that timeout, as we mentioned, Masucci came into the Kansas lineup for Chris Piper, stripped away by Thompkins, and a reaching in foul call on Lincoln Minor. Foul number 1 on Minor, second team foul on the Jayhawks.
I mentioned Masucci did not play in the opening Big 8 game that Kansas beat Missouri, but because of the ineligibility of Marvin Branch, he's going to see some action. Been inconsistent, as freshman will be. He'll play real well, and then we'll play a bad ball game. But Larry Brown said tonight he's going to have to play some.
Almost turned over as Woods went into Robinson, batted away, and Iowa State comes up with it. Greer, one-on-one in the paint. No good. Robinson tried to tip it. Loose ball picked up by Danny Manning.
Kansas a good job defensively that time of keeping the hands up and not fouling Greer.
3-point attempt by Newton will not fall, and Livingston comes down with it.
It shows the intelligence of Manning right there. He didn't think that he could get control of himself, so he just tipped it, had the vision to see his teammate and tip it away and save. That's 2. Oh, what a block.
Lafester Rhodes with the rejection of Danny Manning's shot.
Otis Livingston. And on Jeff Greer, that's foul number 2.
Well, Greer knew it, and what a block on the other end by Lafester Rhodes. He's third in the conference, averaging 1.9 blocks a game. You'll see it. Lafester Rhodes with tremendous speed comes over and gets Manning's shot blocked. I said you will not block Manning's shot, but that's when he has the ball in the shooting position, not underneath.
Scooter Berry checks into the lineup now for the Kansas Jayhawks. And Kevin Pritchard will get a little rest.
And we've got Scooter Berry's dad, Rick Berry, former NBA All-Star, of course, here tonight viewing the ball game.
Alley-oop, and Manning too far under. Could not get it to fall. Robinson doing a good job shadowing Danny Manning. Robinson from three-point range. In and out, and Kansas really doing a super job on the defensive glass.
Milt Newton's a good jumper. He's got his chance. He only started 3 ball games in the first 2 seasons. This is his 4th start now for Kansas. As I said, he replaced Archie Marshall.
Ball game still tied, 9-all at the 13:30 mark in the first half. Inside of Masucci, almost stolen away by Lafester Rhodes. He knocks it out of bounds.
Lafester Rhodes, 6'8", 200-pound senior. His quickness, he doesn't have the physical bulk to cover inside, but the quickness, and you see it right there, enables him to get through and break up the play.
2 substitutions. Chris Piper comes back for Masucci in the Kansas lineup, and Mike Bourne, who is the player of the game for the Cyclones against Dayton, checks in for point guard Terry Woods. And now also Keith Harris comes into the Jayhawk lineup. He'll replace Otis Livingston.
Well, Mike Bourne for Iowa State's a kid that come off the bench, has played very, very well. He's the type of kid that can make things happen.
Touch pass by Manning, right back out. And Lafester Rhodes comes down with a rebound. It's been almost 2 minutes of playing time now since either team has scored. Mike Bourne, junior college transfer from Nebraska Omaha, and they're at point guard. Robinson with a nice fake, gets Manning in the air, and then Piper gets a piece of Robinson on the shot.
Robinson, an excellent pump fake there. We're going to see it here. Come inside. Ball come out. Greer will pop out to the top of the key right there. Inside, good position by Robinson. Gets Manning up, comes in, and then Piper coming across to pick up. Was a little late getting there and picks up his first.
That's the 3rd team foul on the Jayhawks, and Elmer Robinson goes to the line, the 2nd leading free throw shooter in the Big 8. Robinson hitting 86% from the line. Four points in the ball game for Robinson, and Iowa State forges ahead 11-9. And Kansas not having any trouble with Iowa State's pressure. Lincoln Minor. Thompkins pulls it up, short on the jumper, and Lafester Rhodes picks up a foul. Iowa State may be a little over-aggressive, Gary, in the rebounding.
Well, over-aggressive. We'll look at it, and I'll tell you why. Here comes Thompkins up top. Watch the checkout by Piper. That's good fundamental rebounding right there. And the aggressiveness is coming that you're right behind something. You got to go over the top to get it. Lafester Rhodes has to back off and let him have that rebound.
16 foul now.
What a pass.
Manning behind the back. But it will not fall for Minor. Robinson with a rebound. Up to Thompkins. Into the paint. One hands it up. And a foul call.
Tompkins going to get a break here because he's left with a difficult shot. There's Rick Berry. He gets him out high. And Tompkins, probably a smart play right there, knew he was fouled, going to take it up, going to try and get the 2-shot foul. He doesn't get it as Iowa State plays it in out of bounds.
Wise foul by Scooter Berry. Lafester Rhodes. And Rhodes now in the book with 4 points in the ball game. And Iowa State again leads by 2.
Well, Lafester Rhodes can light him up. He had 54 against Iowa, and Iowa State's 102-100 win over them, and 14 rebounds in that ball game.
Kansas missed the 10-second violation by a mere tick of the clock. And Manning cannot get it to fall as they come down with a 3-on-2, batted out of bounds by Mike Bourne.
You've got to credit Piper for Kansas with some courage. We said, you know, he suffered with a groin injury, started all 36 ball games last year for Kansas, had knee surgery in November, then pulled the groin, and he's playing in some pain.
Piper picked off by Mike Bourne. Wanted to go for the shot, and his pocket was picked.
Boy, is Kansas doing a great job of getting back quick. Iowa State is moving out quick with the ball. They're really recovering.
Mike Bourne
Iowa State's best three-point shooter, 21 of 42 coming in. That was 50%. He just adds to it.
Berry with a charge, no basket. Robinson just stood there and took the blow.
Well, I looked across at Rick Berry, his dad, and he just cringed because he knows that Scooter does something he shouldn't do. He leaves his feet, gets up in the air, moving to the bucket, no place to go. He can't control himself and gets charged with the offensive foul.
Excellent call by J.C. Leimbach. Iowa State roars out to a 5-point advantage at the 11:42 mark.
Milwaukee like quick stats, and you see there the three-pointers. Iowa State, the better three-point shooting club, and they're 2-0 in this one against Kansas. And rebounding, Kansas, the stronger rebounding club. They lead the Cyclones by 6.
11:42 to play first half. And right now, Iowa State leading the Kansas Jayhawks by 5, 16-11. And now we've got Kevin Pritchard back in the lineup now for Kansas, replacing Licken Minor.
We talked about the rebounding of Kansas and the good position rebounding. The offensive rebounds, Kansas has 4. Iowa State does not have an offensive rebound as of yet.
I think the big key to Kansas' success, Gary, has been their ability to put pressure on Iowa State. Iowa State opening up with defensive pressure, and Kansas just beating them down to the end line. Inside, Greer's left open for his first basket of the ball game.
Good pass by Rhodes, but a good job by Greer of sealing his man off and holding him there as the pass is in the air.
First 2 by Greer, and Iowa State with the biggest lead of the game, now at 7.
Kansas done a nice job so far with Iowa State's press. I think they've only turned it over once, actually, on the press itself, the full court press.
Greer with the interception, and Iowa State with a 3-on-2, but Greer pulls it up, and then Manning picks up the loose ball. Pritchard to Livingston, and he steps. He walks with it.
Boy, Pritchard did a nice job that time coming down, too. He put the ball to the middle where it created a numbers game, a 3-on-2 situation.
Turnovers 7-3. Jayhawks leading, and that's a category you don't want to lead in. Jeff Greer looked at Johnny Orr during that dead ball and said, "My fault, won't happen again, coach." Here's Robinson left alone from 10, short on the shot. Manning went right over Greer to grab the rebound, and Kansas comes out running quickly. Oh, what a shot. Nice fast break. And Keith Harris gets his first 2. Rhodes dishes to Greer, and Greer is hammered by Harris.
Well, one thing Iowa State has to do is get out and get some cheap baskets on the break. We said Kansas has been getting back well. Here they come down. Rhodes, a good pass. Comes in. Greer comes over, and Harris. Actually, Greer got a little bit too far underneath, and Harris ended up fouling him and sends him to the line for 2.
I'm not so sure Lafester Rhodes didn't crash into Danny Manning and get away with one. And then when Harris grabbed Greer, it almost looked like an intentional foul. Scoring in double figures in 39 of his last 40 games. Jeff Greer, 1 of 1 at the line. He comes into the ballgame hitting 70% from the free throw line. And there's a good look at sophomore Paul Doerrfeld. Sophomore from Davenport. He'll replace Elmer Robinson in the Cyclone lineup. Greer misses the second. Piper with an uncontested rebound. Iowa State by 6 at the 10-18 mark. Pritchard left alone.
He can shoot the basketball. He's a good shooter. 51% from the field.
First 2 of the ball game for Pritchard. Rhodes has it knocked out of his hands, and it falls into the Jayhawks' possession. Manning quickly up court. A blocking foul on Mike Bourne. He was not set in time as he tried to pick Milt Newton.
Well, you'll see Bourne trying to come in here, slide in behind. Comes in there, and it's a good call. A good angle. Bourne sliding on Milt Newton. See him again from a different angle. Johnny Orr doesn't like the call, but I have to believe that it was a good one.
I think it was a good call.
Sliding.
Milt Newton at the line and shooting only 44% from the free throw stripe. 0 for 2 tonight. And he still can't get one to fall. And Manning lost the handle on the rebound, out of bounds, Cyclones.
You've got to look in the first 10 minutes, the job defensively that Robinson did on Manning. Manning has 4 points, 2 of those free throws.
And now a substitution in Johnny Orr's Cyclone lineup. Mark Urquhart comes in to give Gary Thompkins a rest. Urquhart, a walk-on here on an all-merit scholarship.
Pre-med student. Really added some depth to Johnny Orr's squad. A good, solid player.
Kansas out rebounding Iowa State 15-7, and Johnny Orr with 3 starters on the bench. Inside to Doerrfeld, slapped away by Manning, and he gets away with one.
Well, 6'10", and Manning with that reach, he's going to be able to get a hand over the top.
Kansas can cut it down to 2. Pritchard bobbles it momentarily.
Seems to be some anxiety in this game. Kids wanting to move too fast, do something with the ball before they catch it. Been a lot of fumbling of the basketball.
Look at Paul Doerrfeld work against Manning. Piper launches from outside, rebounds his own miss. Newton intercepts it. Then Manning wisely sets it up again.
Good job by Rhodes that time of not taking the pump fake, staying on his feet.
Left alone. Milt Newton. A missed assignment, and Kansas back in it now, trailing only by 2. Bourne from 3-point range. Rebound, attempt by Doerrfeld, won't fall. Urquhart saves it for Iowa State.
Well, Bourne had the shot there again. That was really his shot. I think if he had not just missed that 3-pointer, normally he would have taken that shot, but he backed off of it.
Urquhart takes it this time. Mark Urquhart, averaging only 1.8 points a ball game, takes a gutsy shot and knocks it down. And Paul Doerrfeld intercepts. 3-on-2. Nice pass. Oh, what a play.
Good job by Urquhart. Hit the stride, jump stride, stop there, went up, defensive man take it. He dropped it back in the middle to get the easy jumper.
I'm not so sure that Chris Piper isn't hurting out there right now, and he needs a little relief.
You know, we said he's playing with a lot of courage.
Paul Doerrfeld playing with an injured knee also, and he's hurting a little bit. Boy, this is a war. Big 8 basketball at its very best. Newton left alone. In and out. Rebound, Doerrfeld.
Doerrfeld does about as good a job for Iowa State as anybody of blocking off the boards. That time he had Manning right on his hips.
Iowa State starting to beat Kansas down the floor as this game wears on a little bit. The tempo, I think, Gary, is going to take its toll on the Jayhawks. Elmer Robinson getting ready to check back in for Iowa State as Lafester Rhodes drills from downtown.
Well, if anybody thinks that's an accident for that 6'8" kid to hit a 3-pointer, they're mistaken, because he can fill it up from that range.
Kansas trails by 9. That's the widest margin of the ball game. 7 minutes left to play, and a reaching in foul on Doerrfeld. Kansas is in the bonus, so Manning will have a 1 and maybe. Coming back in now for Iowa State, Elmer Robinson, and also into the Kansas lineup is Lincoln Minor.
Iowa State has had a 19-8 run right now. It was 9-7 Kansas at about the 15 or 16-minute mark.
Now, here's an important statistic, Gary. Danny Manning has only 1 basket in the ball game. Only 1 bucket so far and 2 free throws.
I was pointing that out. Elmer Robinson had him covered defensively the first 10 minutes.
But Manning is 3 of 3 at the line.
Okay, we got 1 plan.
7:04 to play first half. Hilton Coliseum, standing room only.
You take Grayer on the other hand, though, he only has 5 points, so Kansas do a good job of cutting him off. As we have in this ball game, Iowa State ranked 14th, Kansas 16th. Iowa State going for their first Big 8 Conference win.
Snake River. Seconds left to play in the first half. And right now, Iowa State has forged out in front of the Kansas Jayhawks 26-19. And Kansas also has some fans here. And it's almost an impossibility to get a ticket here if you're a Cyclone fan. Look at the yellow cards handed out. It says, blow them away, Cyclones. And believe you me, Hilton Coliseum is sold out each and every home game.
Johnny Orr's style of basketball has really turned them on here in Cyclone country. Johnny Orr, of course, National Coach of the Year when he coached Michigan. Back to the Final Four, he took his Michigan team in 1976.
Iowa State off to its best start in school history, 13-2, including 4-0 on opponents' courts.
We've been talking about the defense on Manning. You see Milt Newton covering Greer. This time Greer gets inside, kicks it up and down.
That's the 7th point of the ball game for Jeff Greer, and Iowa State again matches its biggest lead, 28-19. Livingston from 15.
Piper, a good smart play. We saw him come in on the drive stop, give it a pump fake to influence, and then get it to the middle.
Bad shot by Rhodes. Comes back to Iowa State. Mike Bourne into Rhodes, turns on the low post, and drills it home. And Lafester Rhodes now has got 9 in the ball game.
I think Iowa State can go inside. If Lafester Rhodes goes on the inside, he will score on Piper because he's so much quicker.
5 minutes, 58 seconds left to play first half. 30-21. Iowa State leads by 9. Gary Thompkins checks in at the scorer's table for Iowa State.
Both clubs play a nice half-court defense.
Manning has it stripped away. Iowa State doing a super job double-teaming Manning.
Bourne that time sliding back from the guard position. That's a two-pointer.
Jeff Greer, but only for 2. But he can sure shoot from outside as well as he can flash in the paint.
The thing about two All-Americans like Manning and Greer, their point totals, they're down there low. We're talking about defense, but they're the kind of kids that are unselfish. They'll go and pass the ball moving, and all of a sudden, one or the other could really break loose.
Robinson is doing a tremendous job fronting Danny Manning as Kansas turns it over. Gary Thompkins comes back into the lineup now for Iowa State. He'll replace Mark Urquhart.
There's a case where that groin injury, I think Miner was looking for Piper to go to the basket, and he let him. And Piper, with that injury, maybe just could not get the sudden.
Well, here's Paul Doerrfeld back in now for Lafester Rhodes. Johnny Orr wants to keep his players fresh. Also, Pritchard and Clint Normore comes into the lineup for Kansas. Normore, a football player also for Bob Balasetti this year, 6 foot, 200-pound junior guard from Wichita.
He played basketball at Wichita State 2 years, Mark, and actually played against Kansas in 2 ball games, had 4 points in each of those games. Now he joins the Jayhawks.
Greer trying to go baseline, launches early and gets the roll. And Jeff Greer starting to put on a show.
Well, he did a nice job there. He's going for the drive, saw the defense come in and cut him off, hit the jump stride and went up and stayed away from the foul, the offensive foul. Ooh.
Robinson undercuts Chris Piper. Didn't mean to do it, but Piper hits the floor hard. You could see Elmer grimace when contact was made, but Piper was airborne at the time, and apparently he's going to be all right.
And you see Chris Piper probably asked himself, what else is going to happen to me this year? You see Robinson can't control himself and brushes and gets under the legs of Piper unintentionally, and you see Bourne, I think, coming in there really thought he was going to try and grab a hold and hold him up.
Chris Piper underwent arthroscopic knee surgery. Then he had a groin pull, and I understand it's more than a muscle pull. It also took some bone with it. Probably requires surgery at the end of the season. And Piper misses the free throw. Knocked out of there by Thompkins, but Clint Normore is there. Piper with a nice fake, goes to the hoop, and Greer sweeps the glass. 3-on-2. Greer. And stripped away from behind. An excellent defensive play by Kevin Pritchard. Now coming into the lineup for Kansas is going to be number 32, Mike Maddox, a freshman replacing Piper, who was shaken up.
You saw Greer coming down the end of that break. He made his move, which was good, taking the defensive way. He should have looked to drop back to Bourne on the right side.
Iowa State leading 34-21. And reaching in, a foul call by Clint Normore. And Mike Bourne will be at the line as Lafester Rhodes checks back into the Cyclone unit for Paul Doerrfeld. First foul on Normore, 17 fouls. So from here on out, both teams in the bonus. Mike Bourne comes into the game hitting 71% from the line.
Bourne, a transfer from University of Nebraska-Omaha. He was a 2-year starter there, a solid performer at Iowa State, and really has given him good continuity when he comes off the bench. Has not started a ball game yet this year.
You know, you look at the score tonight, Gary, you think it's been a slow-down game, but it hasn't.
There's some good defense played by both clubs. Iowa State comes with a press at 22, 2-2-1.
And Greer just absolutely wrapped that one up, feeds to Thompkins, and then draws the foul. Thompkins shaken up and grimacing in pain, but apparently all right. What a block and a steal by Greer. Let's look at this one again, because it's worth every minute of it.
Well, Jeff Grayer's been on the All-Big 8 defensive team 3 straight years. Here you see him go up, great jumping ability. Comes down with his quickness, beats Normore to the ball. Will come in, a good pass to Thompkins, loses the handle on it a little bit, and Manning cannot stop his momentum and comes up over the top.
They will give Thompkins 2 shots.
Let's watch it again. Here he comes. Manning comes over, and Thompkins there goes down. I don't know on that if you could. He never did to me look like he got into the act of shooting. He started later on the earlier replay that we shot, tried to throw it up to draw to.
Thompkins hitting 73% of his shots from the line this year, and Iowa State with its biggest margin of the ball game, 37-21. And Thompkins with 4 points. And the fans here at Hilton are on their feet.
Here's a 3-pack of Old Milwaukee Light Quick Stats. Field goal percentage, you see Iowa State hitting 58-3, Kansas at 34-8. Turnovers, see it right there, Kansas has given up at 11 times. And points off of turnovers, let's take a look. Iowa State with 11, Kansas with 4. That's the big difference in the ball game.
Manning still just with 1 field goal in the ball game. He does have 6 points. Kansas is going to have to get him into the offense, and there they get it inside. They get 2 right away.
Larry Brown knows that very well, and he utilized that timeout extremely well. Greer gets shoved, still gets the shot away. They call an offensive foul on Greer. Oh my! Jeff Greer literally got pushed from behind, and then he tried to work for the shot, got called for charging, and that's 3 fouls on Jeff Greer.
Johnny Orr gets Doerrfeld in the ball game real quick. I want to take a chance to the 4th. There comes the pass inside. Newton on Greer. Greer's got it. They got the double team. He splits his way through as they go and gets called for the offensive foul.
I don't know. I think that's a little suspect there. 3:25 to play first half, and you know that they're going to try to get the ball into Manning. Pritchard. Manning going for the rebound and fights his way home. And that's why Danny Manning is a great, great All-American.
When you talk about Manning, he has a chance to become one of only 4 players in NCAA history to score 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. The other 3 are David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Pretty good company.
Iowa State had a 17-point lead, but Kansas is chipping away at it very quickly here after that timeout. And again, a great rebound by Kansas. Newton up, no good. Rebound, Robinson for Iowa State. Rifles the outlet to Thompkins. And Thompkins knocked away from him, picked up by Rhodes.
Probably a little quicker shot than Johnny Orr would like in that situation.
Well, you can't believe that Kansas is going to be shooting less than 40% all night.
Well, Elmer Robinson has been doing a great job of Manning, but there's a nice pass from the top by Newton.
Backdoor play. And Manning, in the last minute and a half, has come up with 3 big baskets. Now checking into the Kansas lineup, Lincoln Minor, and also number 45, Keith Harris. Jeff Greer on the bench with 3 fouls here in the first half, and the Kansas deficit has been shipped to 11.
Now keep in mind, Kansas has shown the ability to come back. They were down 29-10 in the first half against Washington. They won the ball game by 10.
down to the 150 mark. Kansas going to a man-to-man defense now. They were playing zone earlier against Iowa State. Bad pass picked off nicely by Kevin Pritchard. Robinson trying to force it inside. Manning against Robinson. And he's had his pocket picked by Mike Bourne. Iowa State in the paint. Feeds to Doerrfeld. Great pass by Gary Thompkins.
Good vision by Thompkins right there. He's Iowa State's #1 assist leader. He's third in the Big 8 Conference.
Iowa State went more than a minute and a half without a basket. They needed that one badly. And the Cyclones continue to lead by 13. Minor. Knocks the bottom out of the net on that one. And Minor with 6 points in the ball game. Shot clock down to 39. Game clock at 45. Iowa State would like to use up as much time as they can.
Be a good play right here. I think if Iowa State used as much time as it could, keep Kansas from a good opportunity of scoring.
You're looking at the game clock at the top of your screen. Shot clock down to 20. And they can't pass up that opportunity.
Got their motion offense, and then a little back cut. Good pass by Lafester Rhodes. Showing you another dimension. He's not only scoring and rebounding, but he's turned out to be a pretty good passer.
I don't think Kansas is aware of the time remaining. They can't hear. I don't think they know how much time is left. Harris is going to take it, and he'll get it to beat the buzzer. Iowa State with 2 seconds. Bourne full length to the court, and it's halftime at Hilton Coliseum. And what a game it is. Harris with his 4th point of the game cuts the Iowa State light. And in the field goal shooting, Iowa State knocking him in at a 55% clip. Kansas subpar 43%. Keep in mind the Jayhawks, Gary, are the second leading field goal shooting team in the Big 8.
Well, unusual. They did have one more shot than Iowa State, and you can't expect Kansas to stay that cold here in the second half.
Kansas also out rebounding Iowa State, but that was to be expected. 21-13. And the turnovers here, 12-7. Fouls 10 for the Cyclones, even though they're on their home court. That's a little unusual in the Big 8. And the 3-pointers, that's a key statistic. Iowa State hitting 3 of 6. Kansas 0 of 1. The Jayhawks scoring. Danny Manning with 12 points, 4 baskets, but 3 of those came in the last 2 minutes of play. He went almost 18 minutes with 1 basket. Milt Newton with 7, Minor with 6, 4 for Harris, and Pritchard with 2. And for Iowa State, they're being led by Jeff Greer, the All-American candidate, All-Big 8er. 11 points for Greer, 9 for Rhodes, 5 for Bourne, Robinson with 4, Thompkins with 6, and also some scoring off the bench here. Rather balanced scoring, Gary.
Well, Iowa State had 8 players that scored to Kansas 5, and Iowa State's bench outscored the Jayhawk bench 9-4. Harris was the only kid off the bench for Kansas that scored. He had 4.
And of course the big story again is the fact that Larry Brown, even though he's one of the top coaches in the nation, still has not won at Hilton Coliseum in 4 previous visits. He's working on number 5 tonight. But right now the Jayhawks trail by 11. Ranked Jayhawks, and here's the way things are looking in the Big 8 Conference. Oklahoma, Kansas, the only teams with a victory thus far in the league. Iowa State playing its very first Big 8 contest tonight. And of course Missouri lost by 4 at the hands of these Jayhawks last Saturday. And Oklahoma State fell to Oklahoma. Here's the story at halftime, 42-31. Iowa State leading Kansas. Danny Manning is within reach of a record tonight in blocked shots. But thus far, the Jayhawks have not blocked any shots for Iowa State.
Well, that's right. If he gets 2 block shots in this ball game, he'd become the Kansas all-time shot blocker. Passing up a kid that played for Kansas back several years ago, Johnny Crawford, a 6'7" jumping jack.
Both teams will go with their starting lineups in the second half. And for Kansas, that's going to be Manning, Newton, Pritchard, Livingston, and Piper. And for Iowa State, Greer, Robinson, Rhodes, Woods, and Thompkins. And Jeff Greer is treading on dangerous grounds. He has 3 fouls, 3 fouls in the first half. It will be Iowa State basketball.
Both teams will begin identical lineups, which begin the ball game.
Kansas sticking to their man-to-man here in the second half. They went zone against Iowa State early.
Now, right there was a shot Elmer Robinson would normally have taken, but here comes Danny Manning, 6'10", good jump in the ball.
Gary Thompkins from three-point range. And that's 9 in the ball game for Thompkins. And Iowa State quickly roars on top by 14. Piper to Newton. Nice play.
That's the way to answer back quick. It was a great start for Iowa State. You got an 11-point lead, come out and hit a three-pointer, kind of demoralizing normally the team, but Kansas strikes right back.
Iowa State 7-0 at home. Jeff Greer, he likes that range, but he misses that one. And the loose ball is picked up by Robinson. Greer to Rhodes. Outside, uncontested was Woods, but he passes up the shot. And Robinson takes it from three-point range. And Robinson hits the big one.
See the difference there. He had the smaller man on him. He was able to take the ball right up and shoot it.
Manning feeds to Piper. Misses the easy one, but it's tipped in.
Great pass by Manning. As I told you before, unselfish players will give themselves up for an easier shot for a teammate.
Manning got the credit on that last basket, so Manning now with 14 in the ball game to lead all scorers.
Otis Livingston playing smart right there. He had the numbers in favor of Iowa State, 3 defensive into 2. He just backed it up, waited for his teammates, then get into the set half-court offense.
You know, as great a player as Danny Manning is, he is only the 4th leading scorer in the Big 8. Greer and Rhodes leads the conference. Both play for Iowa State. And then you've got the big man down there in Oklahoma.
Harvey Grant, the Big 8 is loaded with talent. This is a tough league. There's 5 teams that ought to be cinches for the NCAA.
Rhodes with the off-balance shot. Thought he got fouled, but no whistle.
Here comes Thompkins. Pulls up between the legs, goes up, drops it off, fakes the shot. You see the defensive man. So many times that's what will happen. When you go up in the air, it'll freeze the defense. They'll turn, and you get an open man.
3-point basket by Robinson at the top of the key, and he was fouled after the shot. It will count. And that's the second 3-pointer in the ball game for Elmer. The foul, I believe, was on Manning, his second. And Robinson, the Big 8's second leading free throw shooter, may have one coming here. Let's see if they call it with the shot or after the shot.
Well, definitely going to have a chance for a 4-point play. The first one we've seen this year.
No, only one shot. One shot. Fouled in the act of shooting. But you're right, it could have been a 4-pointer had he made it, because he did get the 3-point basket. Kansas now trails by 16. Manning goes to work on Robinson and misses it, but Newton with an excellent rebound, stripped of it as he goes back up by Robinson. You know, Robinson is a shot blocker in the Big 8.
Well, he's 5th in the Big 8 in shot blocked, even though he's only 6'5". That time, Manning, uncharacteristic of him, not taking a good shot. He was off balance, sideways going up. It was a tough shot. Good pass by Pritchard.
Oh, excellent feed from Pritchard to Manning, and they know where their bread is buttered. They get the ball to the big man.
Well, they know they get it back from the big man, too, so.
And Terry Woods, as he races up the sideline, is fouled by Otis Livingston. Second foul on Livingston. Johnny Orr wanted to foul a little farther up court. And Ron Spittler explaining to Johnny Orr.
Johnny doesn't believe it. Orr, what a competitor, Johnny Orr. Mike Board, you saw the grin on his face. Something made him chuckle.
Inside to Greer. And the Clones know where their bread is buttered, too. Jeff Greer, what a player. If he doesn't make All-American, somebody's got their eyes closed. Danny Manning with a great feed to Piper, and Piper with a basket, and he's fouled.
Boy, that was something else. Watch this pass. Hits his hands, and it's gone right away. Great vision by a guy 6'10". Piper does a good job, takes it away from the defensive man, and Robinson with the foul.
That's the 3rd foul on Robinson. And Piper with his first basket of the ball game.
Look at Larry Brown. Never a losing season in every level of competition that he's coached.
And Piper makes it a 3-point effort. Terry Woods. It counts. And I believe it's an offensive foul on Woods.
He knew what he was going to do from the moment he touched it.
Right there, he had his mind made up. He goes in. Piper comes up. Piper standing right in there takes the hit by Woods.
That's the 5th point in the ball game for Woods. Harris goes hard to the hoop. Boy, he's impressive. 6 points in the ball game for Harris, including the final basket of the first half.
Harris had a good freshman year. He's a young kid. He's not going to turn 19 years of age until sometime this basketball season. Has not played but in 4 games. It is not in real good playing shape.
Great anticipation by Piper on the steal. 13-point lead for Iowa State. Kansas looking to trim that down right here. Down to the 16:30 mark. Left to play. Inside, Manning, easy 2.
Count it when he gets it down that deep.
Oh, no doubt. 18 points in the ball game for Danny Manning to lead all scorers. Who touched it last? Iowa State. It'll be Kansas basketball. Chalk up a turnover, and here comes Mike Bourne into the Iowa State lineup for Terry Woods. And also coming in for Kansas now, number 32, that's Mike Maddox, 6'7" freshman from Oklahoma City.
Bourne came off the bench in the first half, did a good job, was in there when Iowa State really made the run. He had 5 points in the first half, had 4 assists coming off the bench, and did not turn the ball over once.
Kansas turns it over. Woods with the behind-the-back dribble, beats DeClaire. Stops, won't hit it. Manning with an excellent rebound.
Credit that miss to Manning, because his presence in there and his size, and also maybe the 3 fouls on Greer. Greer did not want to take a chance of taking it to the basket because of those 3 fouls.
Danny Manning has never won at Hilton Coliseum. And he overshoots this basket, and then a foul on Robinson. And Lafester is arguing the call.
I think it's going to be...
And there's a technical foul called on Robinson, or Rhodes.
It's going to be on Rhodes. I think the personal might have been on Rhodes, too. It's expensive. See the ball coming in inside. Let's watch what happens. Manning again, position down inside, goes up, gets too much on it, takes it over the basket, and then coming inside and a rebound. And Rhodes was hidden from a view, must have had a push.
Well, Danny Manning is at the line now, shooting, first of all, the regular free throws, and he hits them both. And now the technical, I believe. And I would imagine Manning will also shoot that. Manning is 6 out of 6 at the free throw line. And the Kansas deficit has been cut now to just 8 points. 17-point lead, cut in half by Kansas, and they also have the basketball. 21 points for Danny Manning. Just under 16 minutes left to play. Pritchard doesn't hit it, and the rebound, Greer, and a foul from behind is going to be called on Maddox of Kansas. First foul on the freshman, but it's the 3rd team foul in the second half.
Ron Zetcher's up at half court. He's calling Johnny Orr up because Larry Brown was talking to him something, and Zetcher wants to have Orr. Looks like Larry Brown was...
Well, there is time out on the court, and we'll sort this out in a moment. 15:38 to play, and Iowa State's lead is cut to 8.
Near the end of the game, and your Napa Auto Parts stores in Iowa and the Cyclone Television Network will donate $100 to a scholarship fund that at the end of the year will be awarded to a Cyclone athlete who wishes to pursue a postgraduate education.
Iowa State with the basketball, working against Kansas pressure now. The Jayhawks have caused an Iowa State turnover, they say, traveling on Thompkins. And Johnny Orr is fuming right now. .15 and a half to play, and Kansas
who trail by as many as 17 points, can come back and cut it to within 6 if they score this time down.
We talked about the great players cutting loose. Manning has had 9 points in the first 4.5 minutes. He gets another tip over the top.
Manning goes right over everyone and tips it in. 23 points, correction, for Danny Manning. And it's a 6-point ball game, 55-49. Iowa State ranked 14th, Kansas ranked 16th.
Kansas up with good pressure, tough pressure man for man.
Manning takes it away from Greer, and then they call Greer for pushing off. And that's the 4th foul in the ball game for Jeff Greer. And Iowa State can ill afford to lose Greer.
Greer motioned to the bench with his hand. Don't take me out. I can stay. I can play, which he's done many times. He's still, I'm watching him down on the free throw line. He's still saying to the coaches, let me stay in. Let me stay in. But Mark Baugh, you see right there, is about to enter, and I'm sure it'll be for Greer.
Mark Baugh, only a freshman, comes into the ball game averaging less than a point a contest. 6'5" freshman from Elgin, Illinois. And Greer, who leads Iowa State in scoring, is on the bench with 4 fouls. And Kansas trails only by 6. Piper open from 15 and throws it away. Through the hands of Harris, lead pass to Rhodes.
That'll get the crowd in. A good job by Lafester Rhodes of handling a ball that was a tough one to handle, running under it and right up for the dunk. That might get Iowa State team excited and back in this ball game.
Manning misses, but Piper comes down with it, and then Bourne picks his pocket. Bourne from 3. In and out. Rebound. Manning.
Well, Manning is doing it all right now. Rebounding, scoring. Great talent.
Half this crowd of 14,000 plus are on their feet. Alley-oop for Manning, and he just misses it. It was overthrown. Manning wanted a foul. Let's look at it.
Larry Brown up complaining about this one. Good roll there. But again, Bourne sitting right underneath, and the ball overthrown.
Mike Bourne brings it up for Iowa State. The Cyclones have not been getting the ball inside for many shots recently. They've been taking primarily perimeter shots. Robinson off balance on the move, but he's fouled on the shot. And Larry Brown is going to make a couple of changes. Coming into the lineup, Scooter Berry and also Milt Newton. They'll replace Harris and also Pritchard.
There's a break for Iowa State as a coach. I know Larry Brown saying, why don't you turn him loose? Because Elmer Robinson taking a bad shot right there, forcing it. See Danny Manning's father, Ed Manning, assistant coach of Larry, right on the left. Probably catch him.
Robinson will have a pair coming to the line. Elmer is 2 of 3 thus far tonight. Second leading shooter from the free throw line in the Big 8, hitting 86%. Robinson with his 11th point of the ball game. And he's better than his average. Iowa State now again leads by 10. And Mark Burkhart is in the Cyclone lineup for Gary Thompkins as Kansas just about throws it away. But Mark Baugh knocks it out of bounds.
Larry Brown can hardly believe that. You don't see that very often. Danny Manning throwing a pass away.
Now, wait a minute. There's a difference in opinion between the officials. One of them says it's Kansas ball. One of them says it's Iowa State basketball. And they'll look to the third official now, and it's going to be Iowa State basketball. Ron Spidler had to contain Johnny Orr, told him to get back in the coach's box. And Orr and Spidler are having words. Probably asking him, how's the trip up here today, Ron?
There they get it inside. One of the reasons they're having a tough time getting inside is because of the pressure on the ball outside, and Bourne hits another 3-pointer.
Mike Bourne with his second three-pointer of the ball game, and now the full court press by Iowa State. And the Cyclones, after leading only by 8 moments ago, have forged on top by 13.
There was that stuff by Rhodes on the breakaway that really got the crowd back in the ball game.
Milt Newton can't hit it. It's a loose ball. He picks it back up and puts it in. Newton now in double figures with 11. And Johnny Orr is still chewing on the officials, thinking that his team is getting beat on the boards. Robinson from 3. Not there. And they're letting them play both ends.
Manning looked to me right there. They might be a little tired. He did not hustle out on the defensive end. He is not too tired to score.
Newton to Manning, and let's see what they're calling it. Technical foul. I can't hear the PA announcer or myself think, Gary.
Let's see, he called it. I looked down. I
think the Manning is on Danny. I think the technical is on Danny Manning. That's right.
I looked away. He might have hit the ball out and kept Iowa State looking out the break. We'll have to get a clarification here. I'm just making a guess at that.
Robinson hits the technical toss for Iowa State. So it's a 10-point ball game. 63-53 and Iowa State with possession.
Or did he get the rim?
Into the Kansas lineup, number 24, Chris Piper, replacing James.
And we get a clarification from the scorer's table now. Manning hit the ball after it was through the basket, after a warning.
Right.
And so that is the reason for the technical. And Manning sitting down to be cooled down right now.
Well, I think he is tired. I mentioned the last time down, he was not come out on defense. He has really been working hard both ends. I think he needed the rest.
Piper on the back of Rhodes. Kansas is not the same ball team without Danny Manning. He won't be sitting very long.
Well, this is a critical period here for Kansas. If they can get by with Manning out, just maintain this 10-point deficit here, or even if they'd happen to pick up a couple three, would really be a plus for them.
Second foul on Piper, 5th team foul on Kansas. And you can't leave Mike Bourne open. Robinson goes to the hoop. Blocked by Mike Maddox, the freshman. Got a piece of it. Loose ball off the foot. And it hits the end line, or the sideline. It's out of bounds, Iowa State. And Robinson created that turnover.
I think it came off the foot.
And Larry Brown gets a much-needed timeout right here. 11:52 to play. And Iowa State still leads the Jayhawks by 10. Here's the old Milwaukee like quick stats. Turnovers, 18 for the Jayhawks, 10 for the Cyclones. And the points off those turnovers, Iowa State with 18, Kansas with 8. And Iowa State has scored a point for every turnover the Jayhawks have committed. The score, Iowa State leading 63-53, 11:52 remains to be played. And Danny Manning with a short breather on the bench. And that timeout could not have come at a better time for Larry Brown's Jayhawks.
Gave Manning a little extra rest. Manning's had 16 points here in the first 8 minutes of action of the second half. He's got 25 in the ball game.
Jeff Greer on the bench most of the second half for Johnny Orr with 4 fouls. And even though Kansas cut it down to 8, Iowa State has built upon their lead up to 10.
One of the big difference here, Kansas with 11 offensive rebounds to Iowa State's 2.
Foul called, and it's going to be on Kansas's Lincoln Minor. That'll be team foul number 6 on the Jayhawks. So Iowa State is in the bonus from 11:40 on. Last to touch it, Kansas. Iowa State will preserve it. Team fouls 6-4, as we mentioned. That was the second foul on Lincoln Minor. Mark Urquhart, Mike Bourne, Mark Baugh, all substitutes off the bench for Johnny Orr now in the lineup.
Important here from Iowa State standpoint, the same as it was for Kansas, with Greer out of the lineup to be able to maintain the lead so he can get back in the ball game.
What a basket by Mike Bourne.
Tough shot. What a job he has done coming off the bench.
Kansas working against the pressure. Newton, found a little daylight and jams it home.
Showed you some athletic ability. Great jumper.
13 in the ball game for Newton as Mark Urquhart off the bench his second basket of the ball game, and it too is a big one.
Well, Urquhart played real well in the first half coming off the bench. Had a basket, as you mentioned, and also a couple of key feeds. Born in double figures for the 6th game this season.
What a ball game. You can't help but think that Kansas is going to make a run here again. And Manning starts it off, but he doesn't hit it. Loose ball, rebound, Chris Piper, and then Robinson. And someone's out of bounds.
I think it's going to be Kansas ball. Piper, just with that injury, still fighting for everything that he has in him, really playing tough.
And Larry Brown, I would think, is about ready to shed that coat. Boy.
This is just an idea of what the Big Eight's going to be all about all year long. Kansas and Missouri went at it at Lawrence. Kansas finally coming out with a 4-point win.
Alley-oop tipped away by Lafester Rhodes into the hands of Mark Urquhart. Down towards the Rhodes, left open for the jumper. And the rebound comes right back to Kansas. And they have a 3-on-1. And Newton bobbles it.
That's the play that I personally always like the bounce pass, because it's an easy pass. It softens it up. If you catch that ball off step on a pass like that, you have a tendency to fumble it. Watch here, Lafester coming down. Rhodes for Iowa State goes up, does not get it. The ball with a long rebound. And we got Newton got by with a little push there. Goes ahead to Manning, unselfish right here. Hits him in the hands right where he should have been able to catch the ball.
Newton comes out. And Keith Harris comes in now for Larry Brown. We're down to the 10-minute mark at Iowa State with a 12-point lead. Urquhart looks for help, finds it from Bourne. 3-point attempt, bounces twice. Rebound Rhodes.
You can credit that basket to Mark Baugh for Iowa State. He was up there and kept the ball alive and enabled Lafester Rhodes to come in underneath it.
And that's one of the reasons why Lafester Rhodes is such an improved player this year. He stays with it. Rhodes blocks Danny Manning. And Robinson comes up with it. And then a foul call. Foul is on Manning. No basket.
Well, that's twice Lafester Rhodes has come off with defensive help from the weak side and made a great blocks on Manning. One in the first half. And now here you see Manning go up. Rhodes coming in there, a good jumper, long arms. Manning now reaches in, picks up the foul.
And keep in mind that every Kansas foul puts Iowa State at the line, because the Cyclones are in the bonus. And they have fouled the second best free throw shooter in the Big Eight, Elmer Robinson, who tonight is 5 out of 6 at the line.
Go back, that might be the turning point. I still think was when Kansas, I think, cut it to 6, and that breakaway by Rhodes on the stuff really, I think, kind of broke Kansas back at that time.
Short on the next attempt, and Manning with another rebound. Piper's the cutter, and makes a nice move for the hoop. That's only the second basket in the ball game for Chris Piper. Bourne loses it, kicks it, picks it up, and then throws it away. Kansas basketball.
Larry Brown motioning for a timeout.
And what have we got?
Let's see who they give. Larry Brown was motioning for timeout, and I think he saw Iowa State call it, and then he started to motion to them.
Well, there is.
Like Quickstep, you see the halftime scoring. Iowa State led by 11 at the half, and they've outscored Kansas by 2 points in the second half, despite a great second half by Danny Manning. Now back to Mark and Gary.
All right, let's also compare the field goal shooting. Kansas has climbed from 43% in the first half to 50% in the second, and Iowa State has cooled off about 2.5 percentage points down to 52.5%. And here's the story. Iowa State by 13 with 9:15 left to play.
Shooting percentage really picked up by Manning. It's been all Manning offensively here in the second half for Kansas. He's got him on his hip again.
And he rolls it in. That patented hook. And Manning now with 27 in the ball game. Thompkins gets into trap pressure, brings it back outside. Kansas. Lafester Rhodes. Almost tipped in by Baugh and tipped out of bounds by Kansas, but a foul is called. And the foul will be on Lafester Rhodes of Iowa State, pushing from behind.
Again, we go back to the job that Kansas has done on the boards, blocking off. Lafester, Rhodes going over the top. Iowa State's, we mentioned earlier, only 2 offensive rebounds in the ball game.
Jeff Greer back in the lineup for Iowa State, along with Elmer Robinson. So Iowa State is back to full strength, minus their starting point guard, Terry Woods. But I'm not so sure that Mike Bourne might not be earning himself a starting assignment tonight the way he's been playing. Iowa State by 11, down to the 8-minute 30-second mark. Pritchard in the paint, off balance, and he still rolls it home.
Tough shot. Larry Brown probably said no, good shot.
Iowa State's three-point shooting has kept them in the ball game until now, and Robinson off the mark with that one. Kansas has a chance to cut it down again to 7. Stripped out of the hands of Manning by Robinson, but it is retained by the Jayhawks.
Kansas making a little adjustment in the second half. They've got a cleared side away from Manning where they can go down in. And if there isn't pressure, if there's pressure on the ball, they can't get back to him to reach in and help him to double team.
Pritchard gets away with the travel and then loses it. Iowa State.
Might have been a little bit of over hustle right there by Kevin Pritchard. He was trying so hard to get strong with that ball that he lost control of it.
We have had a momentum shift to Kansas, and Iowa State needs to get the scoring back in motion. Traveling call on Robinson. He goes up with it, got it jammed into his midsection, and came down with the basketball. And no protest from Johnny Orr on that one.
No, it had to be one or the other. It had to either be a jump ball or a travel.
Kansas trailing by 9, can cut it to 7. Down to the 7-minute 30-second mark. Jeff Greer playing on 4 fouls. They're looking for Manning, no doubt about it. Here's the pass into him.
They are really doing an excellent job.
29 for Danny Manning, and the Iowa State lead, which moments ago was 15, has been cut to just 7.
Doerrfeld off the bench, probably going to come in with a fresh guy. Defense probably getting a little tired inside.
Greer, 3-point attempt. Bad shot selection, I think.
Well, you see right there wasn't anybody from Iowa State inside on the offensive board. Kansas had 4 guys on the defensive glass. Larry Brown holding up one figure. Let's see what they run right here. You can bet this is something for Mathew. They got Harris.
Harris, it will not fall. Rhodes comes down with it. Here's a 3-on-1. Stops, pops, and banks it home. Lafester Rhodes did it all. Rhodes with 15 in the ball game now, and Iowa State back up to a 9-point lead.
And the Jayhawks make that run. Have been making a couple runs, 3 runs at Iowa State, but Iowa State Cyclones been able to shake off the challenge each time with a key shot.
Pritchard short on the shot, and the ball is deflected into the hands of Gary Thompkins. Thompkins to Robinson for 3. In and out. Rebound, Keith Harris. Iowa State has gone ice cold from 3-point range, and Kansas wants a timeout. The tempo is just a torrid pace for the Jayhawks. They're not used to it. 5 minutes, 57 seconds left to play in Ames, Iowa, and Iowa State leads Kansas by 9.
Shannon Ashby of Quality.
Back live at Hilton Coliseum at Iowa State University. 5:57 remaining to be played. Iowa State with a 9-point advantage over the Jayhawks, 72-63. And Kansas, when they're shooting less than 50% from the field, are 2-2 on the year. And tonight, Gary, I think they're just under 50%.
Well, that's right. And when they shoot 50% in the ball game or better, they're 9-1. You know, one thing Iowa State, I don't think Iowa State, there you see the percentages on the ball game. Iowa State, I think the last few times have come down and put the shot up a little quick. I don't mean Iowa State should change their game, but the shot has been coming up with nobody on the boards from that 3-point range. And they could get that 3-point shot most any time.
Iowa State's biggest lead was 17. The game is now a 9-point Iowa State advantage. Alley-oop tipped away by Doerrfeld. Robinson up court. Greer will stop and fire.
Greer gets the jumper there, protecting with his 4th foul. Normally you'd have seen him make a crossover dribble or a move and go for the hoop, but he had to pull up. and shoot the jumper.
15 in the ball game for Jeff Greer.
Doerrfeld, probably one of the better inside defensive players on the Iowa State team, although Robinson tonight has been terrific covering Manny.
Big jumper for Lincoln Minor. And here's a Greer pass tipped out of bounds. Minor with 8 points in the ball game. Came into the ball game averaging only 1.9 per contest. Chris Piper's back into the lineup now. He's one of Larry Brown's starter tonight. Keep in mind that Kansas lost its starting center today due to academic ineligibility. Marvin Branch, Greer trapped, and manages to get it to Bourne. Here's the steal. Minor, nice fake, and gets the roll.
Minor really looked away as if another Kansas man was coming. Lafester Rhodes backed off, and he laid it up on the glass. Good play, smart play.
Foul call. It's on Minor.
Number 11, Minor, Kansas, is third.
Third foul on Minor. And the bonus already in effect for Iowa State. So a 1-and-1 coming. Iowa State doing extremely well from the free throw line this season, 72% as a team.
Iowa State still has one foul to give before they will put Kansas in the 1-on-1.
Gary Thompkins will be at the line. He's 2 of 2 tonight.
Last year, opponents would like to see Gary Thompkins on the line because he struggled around the 50-plus mark. This year, hitting almost 73% from the line. A great improvement over last year.
And Thompkins has hit his scoring average. He's got 11 in the ball game, and Iowa State's lead is back to 9. Danny Manning's looking tired inside.
And he's wanting it on the cleared side. Manning was hauling to bring it around. He wants the one-on-one. Tried to draw
a shot. Contact made. No foul. Thompkins saves it to Manning, and Manning is fouled by Paul Doerrfeld.
Well, Manning in on a couple plays there. You saw him go on the solo on the drive. They cleared out. Tried to force the play and get the foul. Didn't get it, but comes back and gets the interception.
Nobody said this game wasn't physical.
Here comes Thompkins falling out of bounds. Newton hits him, and then Manning playing umbrella right there comes away with a big interception.
That was the 6th team foul on Iowa State. So now the Jayhawks also will go to the line with a bonus should Iowa State commit the foul.
You got to wonder how much stamina Manning has left. He really made a run here in the first 15 minutes of this half. He said he looked tired earlier, and he suck it up and come through here for Kansas in the last 4.
Piper uncontested from the free throw line. Manning with the tip. Decides to go the far side, rebound it, bring it out again.
That might be the answer.
And Manning got Doerrfeld off his feet. Draws the foul and makes the basket. And Danny Manning with 31 points.
Well, he answered a question whether he has any energy left. You'll see him, I think, come across here. He gets the ball, pump fake, goes up. Doerrfeld moving in just a little bit. And that's one thing on Manning. Anytime he has the ball and fakes, you have to stay down, because that's what he's going to do, and then he turns it into a three-point play.
Manning, 7 of 7, and now 8 of 8 at the line. And the lead has been trimmed to 6. Minor riding Thompkins well. Kansas playing a super defense, and Johnny Orr says, enough's enough, let's talk things over. Down to 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to play. And a 17-point Iowa State lead has been cut to just 6 by the Jayhawks. From Kansas University, Athletic Director Bob Frederick, Sports Information Director Doug Vance, and Coach Larry Brown. And from Iowa State University, Athletic Director Max Urich, Assistant Athletic Director Dave Cox, Sports Information Director Dave Starr, and Coach Johnny Orr.
Mark, I think Iowa State has to start looking for Greer. He has not touched the ball very many times since he's been back in the lineup. Let's see if they come with something set off this timeout with a set play.
76-70.
Watch for a back cut up. Here's their motion.
Almost stolen by Lincoln Minor.
Kansas really putting the pressure on. They've got to watch the 5-second count now.
But this pressure lends itself for the back cut. If you overcommit just a little bit, the back cut will be there.
Shot clock down to 11.
Boy, Manning did a good job cutting Greer off.
Elmer Robinson, uncontested.
Well, credit the penetration there by Thompkins. Good penetration. #1 assist man for the Cyclones. Dishes off for 2.
16 points for Robinson. And the fans want a turnover. Iowa State by 8. Minor from 3. Not there. Rebound knocked up in the air. And Bourne on the foul as he comes down on the back of Otis Livingston. And Mike Bourne will put Livingston at the line now because that's the 7th team foul.
The Cyclones got a break originally because Harris, that ball took a high bounce, and Harris just mistimed his jumper. He was right up there, had nobody checking him off. He was right there for the tip-in.
Otis Livingston, a transfer from El Camino Junior College. 6 foot, 150-pound junior, goes to the line, hitting 65%.
We talked about Kansas being a poor free throw shooting team. They're last in the Big 8, 62.9%, and it might be a key.
1 in bonus. And Livingston gets a big one. First point of the ball game for Otis Livingston. And Kansas now trails by 7. 2 minutes, 48 seconds left to play. And this young man also leads the Jayhawks in assists and steals this year. Livingston with a pair. And now some substitutions. Milt Newton and Kevin Pritchard check in for Kansas. And going out, it's going to be Clint Normore and Chris Piper. Iowa State ball, and Kansas will apply the full court pressure momentarily, looking for the trap.
Mark, Kansas with those last 2 free throws made, 12 for 20 from the free throw line.
Iowa State would be a little content right here to get their motion offense in gear and run some time off the clock. Foul number 4 on Danny Manning.
That 4th foul, although you're down to 2:31 now, I was going to say, might take a little aggressiveness away from Manning, and he might back off of trying that move where he comes in, pumps, and goes into you, because he gets a chance of drawing that 5th foul on himself.
Livingston back in now. Minor goes out. Rhodes goes to the line. And Lafester Rhodes has not shot a free throw tonight, but he is a good free throw shooter. 76% on the year. Lafester Rhodes with his 16th point of the ball game.
He's had a good 4-game run here for Iowa State. 104 points his last 4. That's almost 26 points a game average.
Iowa State almost gave the game away at Dayton last Saturday when they failed to make the free throws down the stretch. But tonight, things are working well. Iowa State going to a zone now. Minor dribbles through it, then throws it away.
Well, a big turnover there by Kansas.
And Larry Brown is not happy with his junior point guard, Otis Livingston.
That point guard has been a problem for Larry Brown all year. They've been struggling. They've tried Livingston, Minor, Berry, Pritchard.
Iowa State now will be patient. They want to run some time, run their motion offense, and find a back door open right there. Gary Thompkins. 13 for Thompkins, and Iowa State leads again by 10. We're under 2 minutes to play. Pritchard silences the crowd.
Good drive. Iowa State's just going to be running the clock right now.
Down to an 8-point margin now, 82-74.
This is where the new rule is tough, where you have to come out and make a good foul to get the ball. You used to be able to grab and put the pressure on the offensive team to make it at the foul stripe.
Plenty of time on the shot clock, and Iowa State wants to use all they can of it.
Well, I'm surprised Kansas isn't getting a foul.
Bad shot by Lafester Rhodes, and Kansas with a big rebound. Here's a 3-on-2. Newton.
Smart play by Thompkins there, not to foul and give him a chance at the 3-point play.
And timeout called. Johnny Orr is not happy with that shot by Lafester Rhodes. There was plenty of time left on the shot clock. Right now, we have 1:13 left to play. And this place is electric here in Hilton Coliseum.
Our telecast has been brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By the Napa Auto Parts stores in Iowa with over 100,000 parts and accessories. By Pizza Hut, home of the pan pizza. By Highland Potato Chips, the chippiest chips around. And by Iowa's Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. We'll be there for you.
(82-76). Iowa State leading the Kansas Jayhawks with 1 minute 13 seconds to play. And our Cyclone player of the game tonight is Elmer Robinson. Your Napa Auto Parts stores in Iowa and the Cyclone Television Network will donate $100 to a scholarship fund that at the end of the year will be awarded to a Cyclone athlete who wishes to pursue a postgraduate education. He has done a remarkable job in the game, including 2 3-pointers thus far, 16 points, 3 big rebounds, and from the free throw line, he has been absolutely splendid.
I want to correct something I said a while ago about the free throw. Kansas has really been good at the free throw. Originally we're given 12 for 20. They are 12 of 15 for the line. One thing that might work against Kansas here is the three-point shot. They're down 6, a minute and 13. They've only made 15 three-point goals this season.
Iowa State will return home Saturday to host U.S. International. And then a week from tonight, Iowa State plays host to Nebraska. And we'll have that game for you here on the Cyclone Television Network as Robinson is fouled by Otis Livingston. And Elmer Robinson, who has been so super at the line, will be back at the line.
Good job by Iowa State that time, handling the press, beat the double team. A little dangerous pass right underneath the basket, but then a good clear-out pass.
Third foul on Livingston, and Milt Newton checks back in now for Keith Harris in the Jayhawk lineup. And Larry Brown right now has 1 minute and 6 seconds to overcome a 6-point deficit.
Been a tremendous ball game. You got to credit both teams. Kansas being out up by 17, making a run and coming back a couple, 3 times, but Iowa State able to hold off the challenge each time, and now moving out to an 8-point lead.
You know, I'm sure Larry Brown is starting to think, boy, 5 times in a row now I've come here to Hilton Coliseum and I still can't beat the Cyclones here. You know, what's really interesting is all 4 previous times he's come here, and including this year, his team has been ranked in the top 20, but they still have not beat Iowa State. Clock was left running, and the official caught it during that dead ball. They're going to put some time back on the clock, I think. In the final minute, the time is divided into tenths of seconds, and our official scorer has been instructed to put the clock back to 53 seconds.
This is one time, and I think you'll see Ron Spittler's going to call both coaches up. This is one of the times when you can use a television for a timing correction, and I'm sure this would be one of the times when you'd be able to do that. You can't on judgment. I think the official was on top of the play and saw the clock, because there's clocks not only overhead but in each corner of the building. He was able to look, and they put it back to 53 seconds.
Full court pressure, 53 seconds. Kansas trailing Iowa State by 8. Thompkins, long pass up, stolen by Danny Manning, knocked out of bounds, and all that did was eat up about 7 seconds.
A great hustle by Manning. You can see why he's been Big 8 player of the year 2 times in a run, and he's just given up his body. He's done everything to bring Kansas back.
Danny Manning with 32 points in the ball game tonight. Lafester Rhodes has 17, but Elmer Robinson has led Iowa State tonight with 18. Jeff Greer has been held to 15. And here's a foul even before the ball is inbounded, which is a wise foul if you're from Kansas right now.
Exactly, Mark. 45 seconds. Again there, Johnny Orr, I don't know what, I guess he's talking to his own kids, or I think he really wants a 2, that it was an intentional, but that's a smart play on Kansas's part. You got the clock dead, you put him at the line for a 1-and-1, do not lose any time.
Well, Johnny wants to know, if Elmer Robinson didn't have the ball, how could it be a 1-and-1?
How could it possibly not be an intentional foul if you don't have the ball? Here's Newton from three-point range. And it's not there. Lafester Rhodes with a big rebound. And a foul call. Who's it on? If it's on Manning, he's gone.
We mentioned a three-point shot early in the ballgame might be the Achilles heel. Kansas coming down. Archie Marshall, who was out for the season, was their leading three-point man. He had made 6 out of 10.
Danny Manning has just fouled out. 32 points, but he has done it all, as much as he could possibly do tonight. Marvin Branch declared ineligible today, and Danny Manning knew he had his work cut out coming to Hilton Coliseum. And like Larry Brown, Danny Manning has never won in Hilton Coliseum.
That's right. There you see the three-point shot coming in. Manning reaching back, just scratching, giving himself up right there, knowing that Kansas has to foul quick and save the time. A class guy, Danny Manning.
Well, I don't know. They must have called an intentional foul on that, because Lafester Rhodes is being given 2 shots. And Rhodes is 3 of 3 at the line. 18 points in the ball game, and he's working on 19. And Larry Brown will go home from Hilton Coliseum 5 consecutive years in a row, a loser.
He has beaten every other team in the league on the road except Iowa State.
36 seconds left to play. Iowa State by 10. Iowa State with the basketball. And the officials trying to get some time run off the clock. Everybody's being fouled, and no foul call.
Elmer Robinson dribbled it off his foot. Iowa State hanging back that time.
Here's Newton, partially blocked by Rhodes. Robinson with the outlet, and Robinson is fouled.
Now we mentioned Rhodes is third in the Big 8 in block shots, 1.6 block average a game, and he's had 3 or 4 in this game tonight.
Elmer Robinson has really played a basketball game tonight. Selected as our Cyclone player of the game. Will be back at the free throw line once again. And Milt Newton gets credit for the foul. 21 seconds left to play. Iowa State by 10. 8 of 11, in and out. And Iowa State will also add to the record book the best start ever by a Cyclone team.
Got another piece of it.
Iowa State basketball, the best start ever by Iowa State used to be 12-2, and they beat that at Dayton 13-2, and tonight they'll cruise to 14-2. Into Greer. He gets fouled on the shot, and the foul will be on Livingston, and Greer will have a couple coming at the line. And this ball game has been a dandy.
Well, the Cyclones able to win this ball game. Greer only 15 points. Was saddled with 4 fouls early in the second half. And that's a credit to the balance of this Iowa State team to play without an All-American and be able to pull out a win.
This is the first 1 of 2 at the line. Over 14,000 on hand here at Hilton Coliseum, but it's like that every game. Sold out. Big 8 basketball at its best, and Iowa State with a tremendous following. Final 10 seconds. It makes no difference now. Lincoln Minor will get the basket. Kansas will call a timeout. 2.5 seconds left to play. And Larry Brown a little bit upset. And here are the people that have brought you tonight's telecast. And such a superb job also. Bob Helmers, Mel Crippen, Randy Shelton, Rick Calamay, our associate director here at our broadcast table. And don't forget, 1 week from tonight, the Cyclone Television Network will be back on the air as Iowa State plays host to the Cornhuskers of Danny Nee and Nebraska. .5 seconds remaining. Iowa State leading right now by 8 points. Last year in this ball game, Iowa State won 95-86 right here at Hilton Coliseum as Jeff Greer and Tom Schaefer combined for 71 points. A 9-point victory a year ago, and possibly a 9-point victory here before we're done.
A really important win for Iowa State. It's the first game of the Big 8 conference season. You have to win at home if you're going to be a contender, and you have to beat the contending teams, which Kansas is, on your home court. And so a good start for Iowa State. There's something about getting off to that 1-0 start in the Big 8 conference.
Pressure being applied by Kansas. They get it into Robinson, and Kansas commits the foul. Robinson will get 1 and 1. 18 points in the ballgame already for Elmer Robinson.
Call that an intentional foul. Let's see. Ron Zetcher going down the other end, runs it up, and Elmer Robinson will get a chance.
Iowa State will have two shots and the basketball, and the Cyclones will climb to 14-2 on the year. And Kansas, ranked 16th in the nation, will fall to 11-3. Correction, 11-4. Robinson with 20 points in the ballgame.
16 of those in the second half. And remember, in the first half, he did excellent job playing defense against Manning. Held him to one. He was held to one bucket for about the first 17, 18 minutes.
1.5 seconds left. Into Greer. He won't even fire. It's history. And Larry Brown makes a walk that he's made 5 years in a row over to congratulate Johnny Orr as the victor in the annual meeting between the Jayhawks and the Cyclones. Final score, 88-78. Back with a final word in just a moment.
Come home to the fresh air.
Iowa State with a 10-point win over Kansas, and Elmer Robinson led the way for the Cyclones.
Good penetration by Thompkins, and Elmer Robinson, their most valuable player of the game, goes up for the layup, gets an easy 2. One of his 20 points. 20 points for Robinson, 5 Cyclones in double figures. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's telecast. Again, the final score, 88-78. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Cyclone Television Network. Good night from Hilton Coliseum.